everybody, it's Emiko. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time to my channel. Either way, I am thrilled that you are here. My experience with the Bryston 3B Cubed was way more defining and clear than I thought it would be. First of all, what I found was the Bryston pairing with the Osos was way less bright. There was less high-end, more realness to the music. Now, what does that mean? Because I think when people talk about brightness and high-end, people assume that it means it's brittle and paper thin and super compressed. And well, first of all, it's not compressed because this system's running vinyl exclusively. So that's number one. But more than that, everything sounded more out front. The live albums were definitely way more live. The soundstage was way more pronounced than when I was running it through the Cambridge. Certainly way more live than running the exact same albums on digital streaming, which I also did. The bass and guitar balance I found to be much more balanced. I found that the decay in the notes was much more balanced. It sounded more real. It sounded more round. I like to use shapes when I describe music. I know some people like to use colors. I like to use shapes. Everything was generally warmer. It just sounded like a more personal experience. There were a couple of real marked differences that I noticed. The first of which is that the live reverb on the live albums comes through way more. For me, I was hearing reverb in the vocals differently, reverb in the drums differently, specifically the snare drums and the toms. Very pronounced, a lasting tail. More so, the decay of the reverb was more lasting and more pronounced than running it through an integrated amplifier, and certainly more pronounced than its digital copy. The other thing that was a big change that really made the speakers sing so beautifully, these Egglestonworks, I have to tell you, really replicate drums so accurately. And I happen to say that with a lot of pride and security because specifically on at least one of the albums, this one, the Billy Joel Live from Russia album, I happen to know the drummer, Liberty DeVito, because he and I recorded together multiple times and we even wrote songs together. But that aside, my point is that the Egglestonworks replication of the drums accuracy is so poignant, it's so right on the money that it's unbelievable. And I can say that having known Liberty DeVito, having seen him perform in huge places like the Nassau Coliseum and Madison Square Garden, and also being in the studio with him and knowing how hard he hits and how he plays and how he approaches the instrument. So that was something. I didn't pick the Live from Russia album because I know him. I picked it because it's got such a dynamic range of songs, and you can also hear the crowd screaming back at Billy. So there were multiple reasons for picking that specific album. But that aside, the drums come through so brilliantly on the Osos, and I feel like the Bryston really helps to amp that up. Haha, no pun intended. It sounds warm, it sounds live, it sounds real. You can hear the crack of everything. You can hear the dynamics in the tom rolls, and you can hear when somebody hits the bell of the cymbal, you can hear that much more differently and much more articulately than you can, say, on a different pairing. So that was just my experience with it. The other thing that I found in this particular pairing was that female vocals came out more. They sounded more round, the vibrato, the warbles. That's the other reason. So here's why I chose the female vocalists that I did, right? The four that I picked. Ellie Goulding, because she's pop, she has that really fantastic warble coupled with that amazing falsetto, a little bit of that Joni Mitchell style sing-songy innocence in there. So that was really interesting to test the Osos and the Brystons with her voice. Patti Smythe, I mean, hello, how could you not, right? One of the strongest female vocalists on earth, I think, personally. She's got such a range, such character to her voice, and it all came through crystal clear. She especially came through on the front end really warmly. You could hear rasps and little tiny gargles and artifacts as she was singing that really don't come through otherwise. That's one thing I'll say about the Osos, and I think about the Bryston as well, which is that the way that they offer you the attention to detail is tremendous. Sarah Vaughan, live in Japan, obviously another live album, but who could say no to Sarah Vaughan? But I just think that this album is one of the penultimate that you can use to test a system with and just enjoy. This one was hard for me because every time I would sit down to take notes, I would just get carried away and start listening, and then an hour would go by and I'd go, oh no, I forgot to take notes. So I had to listen to it a few times, but same thing, warmth. In this case, it really felt like I had a front row seat, and that was something that was also really, really important to me. Okay, so the original Broadway cast recording of Annie. There's a reason why I use Annie. First of all, it's children singing, so they already have a different timbre to their voice and a different quality. Second of all, it's Broadway. Totally different style of singing, totally different style of production. Third, there's a lot of horns and a lot of orchestration that's going on in the Broadway show that really help test high end. It helps to test mid-range and balance. All of those things I think are really important when you're testing out the balance of a system. So I chose Annie, which I know a lot of people may think is sort of an unorthodox choice, but I did. So overall, what I noticed in 4 very different female vocalist recordings, right? Some live, some studio, some new, some old and vintage, was that straight across the board, the preservation of the performance was there in terms of the soundstage, in terms of the depth, in terms of the dimensional artifacts in everybody's voice. I think they all came through brilliantly with flying colors, and it's just amazing to sit there and listen to them on my, I'm really proud of my system. To be honest, you guys, it makes me really excited to make these videos for you. But anyway, that's what I found about female vocals. Now, getting to the other reason why I chose Scandal and The Warrior specifically is because there are a couple of tunes on there where in the middle of the guitar solos, there's some pinch harmonics and feedback that's happening. This is something that I think goes unaddressed more times than not. And having been in the studio recording that, I can tell you that those things very rarely come through authentically. There's always a veil separating what you really hear in the studio versus what the listener hears at home. And I was really impressed by the accuracy of how the feedback and the pinch harmonics were preserved in this. I keep using that word accuracy, but it's true. For me, a big thing with choosing components in my system, including speakers especially, is how accurate are they going to be and how true are they going to be to the original recording. And being that I am somebody who usually creates the original recording, that's super important, but it's also something that I can speak to authentically and from experience. So when I use those words, it's because I'm actually there in the production process, so I know what was going on at the time versus how it's coming out sounding as a finished product. So I hope you all found this video to be helpful. Victoria is in front of me with her tug toy right now, sort of looking at me like, can we go play now? So I think it's time to say goodbye, but as always, I hope you found this video to be helpful. I encourage all of you to continue your journeys through critical listening, focused listening, objective listening, whatever stage you may be at, anything you can do to elevate your listening experience and enhance your love of music, go for it. If you like these videos and you're getting something out of them, please hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on, and go ahead and leave me a question or a comment. It's always great to connect with you all. And at the moment, I'm going to sign off and go play with Victoria, who's been very good this whole time. So see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.